Hello and welcome here on SimSpec Media. I am your host, Torre, and I'm very happy to welcome you all to round 4 of the VW Jetta Championship here at Long Beach Street Circuit. See the timer counting us down as we are not too far from getting underway, just in a little bit of practice right now before the race proper. We've had a lot of fun in Sebring last week. Very good set of heats, and should be a little bit of a different challenge here. Long Beach here in California poses a very different challenge compared to the very open and heavy braking zones of Sebring Modified. Also the upcoming round next week for Langley, but one problem at a time. The first of which is trying to understand how things are hotting up here in the championship. But before we do that, we've got a little preview of the track here. Long Beach Street Circuit has featured all sorts of action. The track was famously known for the F1 races that it used to host back in early 60s and 70s, I believe. 11 corners, most famous of which are the fountain at the turn 2-3 complex, as well as the turn 11 hairpin at the end of the lap. Has been the scene of many an accident, many a optimistic sends into the complex, and we'll see if we'll see any more such action in the coming race here. As for Long Beach Street Circuit here at GRL specifically, we can see the race history on the screen now. We've got obviously the track featuring here the Jetta Championship, 4th round of 11, and it's been featuring quite a few times here in the calendar year anyways. MX-5 GT4 was when we saw it last, Porsche Cup April, as well as Porsche Cup US, or NA I guess in this case, by Elin A. Johnson, also featuring the same superheat format that we'll be running here. And just a quick look at the standings. Jack leapfrogging into first with 93 points after a very successful performance at Sebring. John Bailiff as well in second place, featuring the Somali flag. And Jake Cranston rounding out your top 3 on 80 points. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the action on track. So, the qualifying format is very interesting, because we pretty much only have time for one hot lap. So let's pick one guy to take us on board here. Looking at John Bailiff here, the win it or bin it entry. The walls here being a fearsome challenge. These cars will be running on the ragged edge, trying to get as much performance as possible on the track that kind of rewards the risk versus reward approach. John coming up to the start of his hot lap. Nice wide approach here. Good set of tire tracks as well. So the straight here is pretty much, I'm pretty sure, longer than what we saw in Sebring last week. And the back straight probably was quite close in terms of approach, but either way, here we go. John has started his lap. Be very careful not to get that slow down there. Right up to the wall, into the fountain section, right up to the curb, get close to the wall, dip it in, and gotta go all the way over the curb if you can. Manages it fine, doesn't get too unsettled. Cut to the board here, just after 200. really close to the walls on either side. Just about to see the Lando Norris on the helmet as well. Oh, gotta be very careful there. I think he might have had a little bit of a wobble, but he's managed to keep going just fine. Should be getting some lap times coming up as well. Up to 300 and 200. All over the curb. Can't seem like it's too unsettled. Tiptoe it as narrow as you can for the distance. Really up close to the wall. Early on the power as you dare. Let's get some lap times on the board. Stephen Burns will be first. The 136. We've got Jerry with the 135. John Bailiff, 10th off. And might have been ruining not being able to get the fastest lap there. But Jake Cranston takes pole by a whopping, I was going to say half second, but Eric manages to hit him at the line. Good to see. And Patrick Dopart manages to slot in just behind, also a 10th down. And I think that is pretty much everyone gone. So Jake Cranston takes it for us here. Very good performance. Put it on pole. A minute 40 to go, so I think that should be that for him. And take a look at his lap that allowed him to put it on pole here. Oh, just approaching like a minute and a half to go to this session. Having managed to get pole by about a 10th, shy of 2 tenths. How much effort he put in to manage to get that pole position. Up onto the chase cam as well, just to get a good sense of how hard he's pushing this car. Full send, I think is quite appropriate here. That this track really rewards that approach. Jake managing to carry a lot of speed there. We did see John Bailiff on his lap on board getting a little bit of a moment, and the game decides that we won't have quite the time to give it a look. But let's have a look at the grid instead. We've got Jake on pole, Masters of Torque car, 34.8. Patrick Dopart at just about a 10th behind, and then we've got Eric Menenfeld, 2 tenths, and then a considerable gap to the cars further behind, 6 tenths to Jack Johns, John Bailiff, minute or minute entry that we were on board with, Jerry Agard in the 6th position, Andy Fox 2nd behind, likewise with Bob Wallace in the 8th position, John Payton, Jan Weiswanger and Stephen Burns back off the grid. And I think that should be much it. We've got 11 cars here on track. So that should hopefully be a very interesting start. We do have the dual cam available for the race here compared to last week. So I'm going to make sure to get the action properly on track first. Cars are going to be revving up, ready to get us started. And there we go. Jake gets away quite well. Got some winners and losers further behind. I think that might be Jack. Right up to the back of Eric Mansfeld. Heading into turn 1. What is it going to be here? Jack takes it to the inside. Hopefully leaves space on the exit. Oh, we've got, I think that's Jerry Agard into the wall. We'll see how things manage to get on. Here's some contact further behind. Andy Fox on the inside there. Bob Wallace in the beautiful Jamaican coloured car here. Andy continuing to defend. think that's Stephen Blobby Burns. Right at the back of the field. And I think this is now the first instance we've had where we're all line astern. No one's threatening any overtake too much. I do think we've got Andy going quite a bit slowly here. Oh, a little bit more contact as well. John Payton in the pace car. Making sure the field stays ahead of him here. He's right up onto the back of him, so he might want to change the situation here with his position. It seems like all is nice and clean. I'm not getting any incident warnings here, especially in the final corner. A little bit of smoke. I think might have been from Jan. And it seems like we're pretty much all clean through here on lap 1, so that's very good to see. So we'll probably take the chance to cut to the leader here. Or rather, yeah, Patrick Dopart. Giving it very good action here. I think we've got Jerry Agard with a meatball as well. And catch the onboard with Patrick Dopart in the bottom right corner. See if we can manage to get a replay for what happened to Jerry. But in the meanwhile, it is as we were. Few gains and losses at the back. Stephen Burns up 4 positions. Very good to see. And as always, if anybody has any overtakes or anything that they want to see or anyone that they want featured, you're in the chat, fire away, and I'll see if I can oblige. Patrick giving it very good racing lines here. Allows him to stay pretty close to Jake. Nothing too much going on here. You can see from the intervals up on the screen here. And with pretty much nothing untoward happening, I think we'll be able to grab a replay. What happened to Jerry? This is lap 2. He locked up. Ooh, very heavy. And he's going to have to tow straight away. He was already locking up and decided to try to make it rather than take the bail out runoff. Very rough to see. Meanwhile, we can have a look at how Stephen managed to get those positions. But right off the start line, managed to jump John Payton. And then I believe take the action to Jerry Agard as well. I think that might have actually been nice one there. Yeah, it was. Oh, very good moves here. And then a few more overtakes here. We're going to fast forward to him managed to get past Jerry after he had this incident. And just now, whilst we were in replay, for 6th position, side by side with Bob Wallace, who obliges and lets him go. So yeah, some very good action here. We'll keep things moving. So let's go back to live. Still about roughly the same gap. The leader here, Jake Cranston, Eric Mansveld, keeping somewhat close behind as well. And further back we've got John Bailiff in a little bit of a fight. Might be a good chance to get some dual cam here. We've got the closest fights on track at the moment. John Bailiff taking the fight to Jack Johns. two separate packs forming. At the top of your screen, the top three, threatening to become the top two as Eric is getting dropped behind a little bit. And then Eric being bookended on both ends by the top two and the fourth and fifth placed cars here on the bottom of your screen. And another pair even further behind, Stephen Burns and Bob Wallace. John giving the hurry up here. About 8 minutes and a half to go. I'm gonna see if get any action in the offing here. This is already quite a muted race compared to Sebring. Sebring, I think everybody was. Oh, I spoke too soon. John had to go there. Not sure what it was because I didn't see any sign of a lockup or anything. He's going to be gutted at that because it seemed like he was trying to set up an overtake. But alas, gonna have to get back in, stuck back in, and see how things continue on. Patrick, about as close as we've seen him for a little while. Bring up some lap times as well to get a sense of just how close these guys have been running it. Cranston pretty much does have the better of Dopart here. 10th, maybe half a 10th. Was a little bit worse off than the previous lap, but nothing untoward. Meanwhile, if you compare to Eric Mannenfeld behind, had to confirm what we saw. Eric does seem to be dropping off ever so slightly, so it does seem like the game plan for Eric here is to just stay as close as possible and hope that the top two get into a little bit of a fight with 7 minutes to go. We'll stay here with the leaders. A very interesting approach here because you want to push as much as you can. You don't want to leave it into the wall and into the pit lane. So, got the onboard here. Patrick in second place in the top view, and in the inset we've got the gearbox view looking back from the leader, Cranston. Get that overlay in a little bit of a better position here. Yeah, the Constantina effect, bringing the cars kind of closer under braking and further on the exit. So it did seem like Dopart did take a much better line there in kind of turn 9, turn 8 complex. It's right up over the curb. Continuing on here, this is now lap 7. Getting to 5 minutes to go, so we'll see if people start pushing the envelope a little bit more. Take a few more risks, track out a little bit more. Very deep there from Patrick, so that's going to leave him exposed to Eric behind. And I guess that 5-minute mark is the hurry up. Lord knows as a sim racer, that 5-minute mark does make me realize, like, oh, if you're going to do anything, now's the time. We saw with the lap time comparison early, Cranston did have about a 10th in the bag, all things considered. So we'll see if Patrick has enough time to get right up on the back of Jake and then also continue on the fight for a possible overtake. Got a yellow flag for Andy. I don't think there's anything wrong on track, so we'll just continue on. Got a few back and forths between John Payton and Jan Weiswanger. So we'll queue up the replay once the leaders here managed to get out of the final corner without any blemish. That seems to be the case. So we'll cut to John Payton side by side with Jan. See how this resolves itself. Jan managing to eke it ahead. Jan deciding that discretion is the better part of valor. He wants to keep going, so that's good to see. Got John threatening to try and overtake Jack ahead of him. Outside of turn 1, it is an inspired call. But definitely a way to stamp your foot down and announce yourself as wanting to get into this fight. Oh, and just as we were switching over to this, John managed to get an overtake done on Jan. See if we can get a replay of that at some point possibly. Bailiff giving it everything he's got here. Leaders are as they were. So it seems to be more to be a fight for P2 at the moment. So we'll just bring that up on the dual cam. Got the front 3 here with Patrick in focus. There. 2 minutes to go. So I'm counting 2 laps here. Closest fight on track on the top of your screen here. John Bailiff giving it everything he's got. Dropper cam giving us a really good view of all the paraphernalia in and around the track. Lord knows in VR I don't really get the chance to put this much eye candy on. So, I'm enjoying the view as much as everybody else that's giving this a look. Interesting here to see how the front 3 have managed to drop the 2 Jettas at the top of your screen here. 4 seconds of the course of the race. And if I understood it correctly as well, the second heat should be top 8 reverse. So at the moment that puts Andy comfortably on 2 pole. John continuing to try to give it a look. Doesn't seem like anything is going to happen here. He's going to have to try and angle for a very good exit. Seemed like he ran a bit too close to the wall, so that might have compromised him a little bit. White flag here. Bodied the flag man, giving it a good wave. Trick having to fight for multiple laps just to get 2 tenths behind. It seems like he managed to shrug off Eric good enough here to get himself involved with the lead for the win here in Heat 1. Oh, and some wall contact from John. So hopefully that hasn't compromised him too much. Still pushing, still angling for that 4th placed position. Leaders kind of coming up to, I believe, turn 7, I think. Right up to the wall. Jake looking as in command as he has since the start of this race. Not had to really defend, not had to really fight. We're going to see, is Patrick going to go for some kind of Hail Mary send into the hairpin? It would be a big send if he does. Doesn't look like it. And the leaders are coming up to the line in the bottom of your shot. That will be Jake Blobby Cranston taking it here. 4-1. John will have to settle for 5th. I believe we've had apparently a crash. That was Steve Blobby Burns. Oh, and that's a little crash here into turn 1, right over the wall as well. That's good to see. Lovely. Oh, medical helicopter. Medical helicopter. Andy managing to clip straight through the wall. I don't think I've seen that before. And that's Jerry Agard coming in and sending John straight into the ether. I don't think there's a good camera to actually catch that. So I think that is pretty much it. Can we get a replay perhaps of what happened on that final lap? This was what cost Steven right at the end. Was it an overtake attempt? Oh! Turned in too early and Bob Wallace gave him a little bit of a help along. That was interesting to see. And am I going to get the chance to get an onboard here? So onboard here with Bob Wallace in that final corner on that final lap. We're kind of together for a little while. Third closest fight that we saw on track. Oh, and he switches over. So we'll just have to make do with the TV shot that we saw earlier. Right. 2. That puts Andy on reverse top 8 pole, ahead of Stephen Burns, Bob Wallace, John Bailiff, Jack Johns, Eric Manitfeld, Patrick Dopart, and Jake Cranston, just waiting to grid. And hopefully, yep, there he is. Oh, expect Jake to get some moves done. Possibly Jack Johns to try to get to the head of the field before the rest behind catch up, as we are away. And it seems all fair and square. Eric Manitfeld currently looking like he's a little bit compromised. But all's fair here, side by side, between Stephen Burns and Andy. Oh, I believe that might have been Eric Manitfeld going way off into the pit exit line, so that's going to be a slowdown. Contact behind. That might have been Jake, I believe. Patrick Dopart getting squeezed on exit, so that's going to compromise him. Good thing the track is too narrow for anyone to follow through. Side by side behind Eric Manitfeld. Ooh. And who was that? That was Jan, I believe, going straight into the wall. Oh no, that's Jan going through after his similarly liveried car. Jake was kind of sent to the wall a little bit. And all's fair here. Managed to get the overtake done on Jan, who decides to let the Heat 1 winner go. And already line astern here. Wondering to see if we're going to get any possible moves here at the head of the field. Right up onto the bumper. It would be an inspired send if he goes for it. And camera back as well. Somehow managing to pull alongside he does, Steven, with the leader. That's a very good exit out of the corner. Must have tucked it immediately once Andy was on the corner exit. And now the inside line around the clockwise straight. Go around the outside would be very, very inspired, and Andy does back out. It all seems well. Bob Wallace, meanwhile, is threatening to go for an overtake on John Bailiff here at the fountain. Very clean running here, and good fighting. Good fighting. Bring up the gains and losses. Steven managing to take that overtake. We just saw lap 2, turn 1. Not as many heavy overtakes as we saw last week. Last week we had pretty much the Heat 1 winners kind of at the podium scything straight through the field. It seems like things are a little bit more patient here. So a straight line of Jettas. I think with that might have been Jack Johns. Looking inside. Bob going a little bit deep. Jack has got to be smelling blood in the water. Managing to go out very narrow. Oh, and Bob is out on the side. Does he have damage? I think he tracked out a little bit too early. Probably going to see a replay here, but just want to stay here just if it goes any worse for him. Doesn't look like it's the case. Up to the leader. Andy right on the bumper here of Steven. And it seems like we're all still good. Bob has managed to crash. Oh, what's happened there? So we'll have a look at the crash just now. It didn't look like there was a fire or anything. It must have been a lockup, I'm guessing. So at least he decided to bail out of the corner, but that is going to cost him a lot of time. Meanwhile, we can have a look at what happened to him. A bit further back. That was not the overtake, so I'll have to queue it up later. Let's just cut back to the leaders here for the meanwhile. I'll start to look up the replay for what happened to Bob. Side by side with the leader here. Still managing to keep it in. John trying to go around the outside, so this might be our first move into the hairpin. Little snatch of the brake. And Jack looking to be opportunistic here. Side by side with John Bailiff on the left. You can see. Oh, apologies. No, that's John Bailiff ahead of Andy Fox somehow. That's very good running. Is Andy going to fight him here into turn 1? Oh, a little bit of a rear shake. Is he going to manage to keep it in line? He does. Oh, and you can hear the crunch there as we get bumper action. So what happened that allowed John Bailiff to get right into this? Let's get the outboard cam. So we had an overtake here. So Bailiff managing to pull alongside with Andy. Jack threatened to push through, but had to settle in when we grabbed the left front suspension cam. And then Andy very strongly kept his foot in it, stayed alongside, and kept second place. A very good fight there. Whilst we were in replay, we didn't miss too much, though John did look like he went very deep into that corner. This is going to have to allow Jack to get in with the fight. Patrick behind having to defend. And Jack basically pushing John through the hairpin. We'll see how things play out here. Grab the chopper cam to get a sense of sort of gaps that we're seeing here in the standings. A little bit of defensive line. Jack, ooh, almost gets out of shape trying to either jink a fake or actually go for something before thinking better of it. But now, what that has led to is the front two getting a second out from the rest of the field here. And seems like most of the pack is just biding their time at the moment. We're going to Eric Mannintveld here. The chopper cam. A lot of paraphernalia and buildings dotted around the track, so this might not be too much of a camera angle. Grab the onboard here. Dutch driver chasing the pole of Patrick Dupont. Tires be sliding here, doing a lot of work. Such a fearsome hairpin here. The corner is that slow that you can't simply be maintaining your racing line when you're behind a car. Be very wary of any checkups. So often have we seen the hairpin be an incident central. Speaking of which, hopefully we don't get one here into turn 1. Steven keeping the lead here. We're past halfway into this race. More wall contact. I believe we've had a crash. Oh, John Payton had a moment, so I have to embarrass him on stream here just to find out what happened to him. A little bit hot, I'm guessing. Ooh. Hopefully that car should be fine. Lefty throttle as well, trying to get going again. Well, the kind of front bumper of Mother, I suppose. But that has allowed Bob Wallace to get right up onto the back of John. We saw Bob have the incident in turn 1, or rather the half incident. He did back out of the corner. And speaking of back out, that allows Bob through as John decides to let him go. Good a time as any to cut through to the leaders. But Patrick Dupont having gone for a move here into the hairpin, which is pretty much part of the course here. Once you start getting 3-4 cars all going to the hairpin at the same time, someone will eventually pull the trigger. Though having sent it there, Eric decides to keep his nose in it, and he's definitely alongside, so some space is going to have to be given. Oh, keep it clean, guys. A little bit of a bump there. We see Jerry getting on the brakes. Oh, very opportunistic send. And Jerry goes through. Is he going to make it to... Oh, apologies. That was Jake. The Masters of Talk car at the head here. And he goes through, and that's 2 for the price of 1. And Eric also manages to get through, so Patrick is going to be feeling very aggrieved here. But very good fighting here. Amazing fighting right here. And let's see if we can grab a replay. Unless Patrick behind here threatens to go for a bit of a send. Don't think that will be the case. And if it is, then we can cut to another replay. So, let's have a look at what happened in that fight. We can see this was into the hairpin. So that's rather, it was Eric going almost around the outside. And that kind of rewarded him with a very good run. We're now cutting through to start finish. So we're just going to stay on board here. We'll grab Jake's view from the front. On the robot we can see Eric and Patrick side by side. Patrick does scrape the wall a little bit. And does Jake just send it? He does! Right up onto the curb. Argy-bargy with, I believe that was Eric. And then Patrick forced to give space. And only lose out. And then Patrick having to get onto the brakes again to avoid having to slam straight to the wall. So very good moves there, and we've had some fights for the podium. So I think that was Jack Johns getting involved with a fight with John Bailiff. Just under 3 minutes to go. Let's see if we can grab a TV view from the action. So this was just ahead of the fight that we saw side by side with Bailiff, inside line, around the fountain, managed to eke out just ahead as well, and very good fighting there, very good fighting there. And John doesn't have too much of a reply here. We'll see how things play out. Closest gap on track here at the moment. And 2 minutes 14 to go. Got Patrick, one of the guys losing out here. He is where he started in this race, but compared to where he was, it'll probably feel a little bit aggrieved. Gary Agard managing to gain 3 positions. Continuing to stay in this race. As we're now on the penultimate lap here in Heat 2. And just for those watching, it will be a full reverse grid. TV angles here. Jack Johns, if you can go back a little bit. Manintveld under pressure on the car ahead of Jake. Ooh, I believe is that. Oh, I think everything is fine. Oh, saw something going quite slow. I think that's Jack Johns. Going quite slow, so did he have a moment? I think he might have, you know. So Jack with a black flag, so is this a slowdown? It might have been, you know. So might it have been at turn 7, a little bit too much curb, and he's dropped like a stone. Speaking of stones, Jake Cranston tried to make a put on his name, but yeah. Forgot how British words sound. Either way, P4 ahead of Eric. Got the gaps on screen here. Some fights a bit further behind, and I believe that's Jack having crashed just now. So what happened to him? So was it turn 1 incident for him? I think it might have been, you know. Ooh, and he decides to pull off, and I don't know, is this strategically getting a Heat 3 pole? Either way, he's in the pits, and that's where he will finish. So that gives us a chance to have a look at John Bailiff. Under very heavy pressure from Jake behind, who's going to be itching to get onto the Heat 2 podium here. Eric pushing like hell behind as well. It's going to be ascend, it's going to be here. There he goes. Right there. All over the wall. And that's going to compromise his exit. I don't know if that's going to give Eric the chance to pull alongside. He's right there. I'm going to start finish. Andy takes it for Heat 2. Jake just about keeps it. Oh, and they're crashing before even turn 1. So, yeah, sure, go for it. Actually, Dopart deciding to... Boo! Gotta crash these cars, guys. Come on. So let's have a look at what happened at the end there. So Jake went for a little bit of a send here. I say little. This was the tens of sends. Oh, and the heat switches over. iRacing has got to allow me to do some of these replays, really. But since we're in warm-up, we'll take the chance to bring up that replay. We've got quite a bit of a warm-up to go here, so I'll take my chance to bring up the replays here. He could have had it done, but hitting the wall compromised him heavily here. And that allowed Eric to pull alongside and just about miss out on getting a position at the end. And a nice little crash at the end as well. So, we have got a little bit of a warm-up here. and that should be about a warm-up of 3 minutes. So just as a reminder as well, we've got standings here for reference as well, as we count down the seconds to heat 3. So Jack Johns electing to pit at the end of the race to take 3 pole. John Bailiff, some consistent finishes at the top. Jake with the Heat 1 win, I believe. And a very hard-fought fight at the end there in Heat 2. Patrick Dopart finishing towards the front. Eric Manitfeld around about the 5th position in both heats, if I remember correctly. And then Steven managed to get some points. Sam Van Olst isn't here. Jeremy Agard got involved in some of those incidents in Heat 1. Andy taking a very strong Heat 2 win for the maximum 20 points on offer per heat. John Payton finishing towards the end of the field, who will get the Heat 3 pole, as we are in full reverse grid for the final heat. And then Jan Weiswanger and Martin Wallace getting involved in a few of those fights and incidents that we saw as well. And just as a reminder as well, this is round 4 of the championship here at GRL, broadcasted by SimSpec Media. We've got next week's round being the first oval, I believe, on the calendar, the Langley Speedway, one of the 3 ovals in the iRacing surface as well. So we hope if anybody's watching and they've not been able to take part in any of the races so far, do please turn up. The only thing crazier than a Jetta race is a Jetta race on a short oval. So, yeah, be very good. And again, just as a reminder, if you've forgotten any of the corners, because Lord knows that I have, turn 11 being the hairpin, and turn 6, 7, and 8 being a very important sector here in the middle. I believe that might have been where Jack Johns got his slowdown. Though we'll have to ask him in the Discord. And speaking of which, if you want to figure out the Discord, there is an invite link in the YouTube chat for reference as well. Right, we are just about ready to get going. As we bring up the grid here, we've got Jack Johns on reverse grid pole. Apologies, I had completely forgot that he went for a very strategic pit lane finish in Heat 2. So that is Jack Johns on pole, John Payton, Bob Wallace, Jan Weiswanger, Jerry Agard, and Patrick Dopart in 6th, Eric Mannintveld and Jake Cranston having that start, that finish line fight. John Bailiff, Stephen Bez and Andy Fox. Right. And we are away. Perfect timing. Jack Johns is going to be looking to run away here. See how John Payton managed to keep the positions here. Got the chopper cam on the bottom screen here. As you can see, Patrick Dopart. Oh, and I believe that might have been Jan getting involved in a fight. Oh no. Bunch of issues. Jake managing to get some positions here. And I think that might have been Mannintveld dropping back. It is with Bob Wallace as well, right to the back of the grid. And Jack Johns still in the lead of this race. We're going to get a replay, I promise, of the fight further behind. John Payton gives way to Jerry Agard, Patrick Dopart and Jake Cranston. John Payton getting a little bit of a biff from Bailiff. And we're just going to keep it on the top cam here. It's John Payton, as we're going to see. I believe that's Jan moving through. But deciding to keep alongside is going to... Oh, and that is... that's very unfortunate there. He had to check up Very unfortunate to see. Saw John trying to give way to some of the faster cars as nicely as possible, but it's going to be getting quite a grief there. Either way, we hope he managed to stay in with this fight. And we cut to the leader here. Jack John's well clear of everybody else. So we'll focus in on Jake. Very close fight behind. We'll bring up the replay of the incident into turn 1, as well as the crash that we saw on the chopper cam. Jake wanting to follow up that Heat 1 win with at least a podium, surely. But at the moment, it doesn't look like Jack Johns is reaping the reward from finishing in the pits in Heat 2. A few more incidents further behind. John Payton being shown as being under a yellow flag. There goes Jake pulling alongside Jerry. Anybody gonna back out here? I think Jerry will. Swiss flag making him very recognizable on anything that has the camera above the eye line of the car. And that is a podium for Jake Cranston. Podium as of now anyway. Very close fight behind. We can see in the back of shots Bob Wallace been given a little booty bump from Steven. And yeah, these Jettas have looked better in lap 3, so we're going to stay on board here before cutting to replays. And we're going to see an opportunistic send from Steven here. He elects to keep them. Andy in the Soltec car just ahead of Bob Wallace here. Managing to pull on the outside. Very interesting approach there. We've had some more yellows, but I don't see anyone going off this snow. Andy fighting Jan with everything he's got in him. Did get involved in that Heat 3 incident last week at Sebring, but we hope he can manage to make some good progress here without getting involved in too many shenanigans. We've got a very good Heat 2 to look back on for him. Bob Wallace here is going to be quite annoyed here because he knows getting held up here is gonna give even a good chance at a possible overtake. We'll cut to the second onboard cam here. So we've got Andy on the top side by side with Jan. Got the left front suspension view here from Steven. Just to see how close these cars are getting. Right up into the back of Bob Wallace. And Andy does seem to have checked out completely. So got the top cam to Jan. Surely he's going to want to stem the bleeding here. Not lose any more positions. The front pack as they were. Oh, and we see Steven looking to the inside here. But surely that's going to be his corner. And Jan getting all up into the wall there. But that is Steven now having overtaken Bob. German, a Scotsman, and a Jamaican person walk into a bar. It feels like the setup to a really bad joke. Oh, and as bad as it can get. Oh, and we've got a car park here. Oof. I would... I wouldn't be surprised if someone has a meatball. But my goodness, that was an almighty incident. But let's see if we can catch what happened here. We'll grab the chopper cam. They were very close to each other. Jan taking the corner as is, and then I think Steven just helped him round a little bit. Everyone full throttle trying to get out of it, and yeah, that is very unfortunate there. But let's see if we can see what happened on the opening lap. This was Andy at the start of the race, getting immediately past Steven on the lights out procedure here. We'll cut to Chopper as well, just to get a better sense of what happened to everyone. Patrick no part. Ooh, chopped across the nose there. Keep it going just fine. Eric Manintveld. Ooh, side by side with Jan. Almost turned them around. And that's kind of what caused the stack up that we stalled there. Right next to Stephen Burns. One chopper count. Got it. There we go. And that was kind of what led to the incident there at the start of the race. Right, you've got the leaders in a very big fight here, with 6 minutes 40 to go. Patrick manages to eke out ahead. Jack decides to stay in. Patrick having to check up to allow him to track out, which allows Jake through. Somehow in all this sequence, Jack is still in the lead of this race. Jake having gained a whopping 6 positions. You don't have to take my word for it. It's right there on the standings. But never mind Jake just being on for a podium. He is going to be gunning for a free win. We're forcing Jack to take a very inside line. Not quite having this chance to switch back there does Jake, because Patrick is lurking. And that has put John Bailiff into the fight, who is currently being given the hurry up by Eric as well. But now we've got a top 5. Guys, come on, you guys can keep it clean here. Bit of a narrow line there. And Patrick has lost another position. Though he is side by side, so he could still opt to try and fight it. No. Decides to slot in. Alright. Got a really strong fight here. I don't think the guys behind, Andy and Jerry, have too much pace to catch the front 5 here. It's kind of threatening to become the top 2 as Jake and Jack have managed to get out to off second plus lead over the rest of the pack here. We will keep the camera here on the leader whilst we get the onboard from Jake's view. And that should give us a good sense of the speed that these cars are managing. It is getting quite overcast here. So no chance of rain, since these Jettas are not rain enabled. Which kind of is a bit of a shame. Jake pulling alongside, forcing Jack to go defensive. And again, that opens the door for John. If you see any moves, we do see a move here. And I believe that's John Bailiff, or Eric Manintveld rather. Very strong send into turn 11. And is that going to be 2 for the price of 1 here? Eric Manintveld. Side by side here with John Bailiff. Eric Manintveld here, the Jetta on the pit exit side of things. Bailiff defensive here. Yeah, he's gonna want to fight that around the outside. Come on, this is yours. Oh, you're gonna have to give him a little bit of space. Don't want to get turned around here. Bailiff giving it everything he's got and more. Planetveld taking as much as he can without slamming him into the wall. And oh, I think that was more than what he could chew. That was rough. That was very rough because it seemed like he was threatening to go all of a sudden into P3, and now the winner of all of that, Patrick, welcome back onto the podium. My goodness, what a fight we're having here. And all of that has allowed Andy to get to within a second of this pack right here, as we've got 2 minutes 20 to go. We're just going to see these guys get into the hairpin here. Much cleaner than the incidents that we've seen so far. Alright, so what has happened that allowed Patrick to gain third place? So we saw the fight for a good little while. As you saw, they were side by side for quite a while here. Grab the onboard as well from Patrick. They were side by side. I believe that's Bailiff on the outside. And there he goes through. So they both just tracked out way too much. There goes Patrick Dolpart for third place right now. And I'm surely if it could have a steward look at this, that would be a racing incident. Like, these guys were fighting so hard on a very congested part of the track. But all's well. Still on track. No beat balls. Bruised bumpers and egos aside. VW Jetta Championship here at Long Beach. We're here approaching the end of the penultimate lap. Jack has taken this race by the scruff of its neck since starting on P3 pole. Jan Weiswanger dropping all the way back. What's happened to him? Ooh. Oh, black flag. I hope this isn't for incident points, because it does seem like it would be a bit early. Ooh. Oh, almost took Bob Wallace with him, but he kept it going. Alright. We are on your final lap here with your leader, Jack Johns, the Racing Line Jetta. And these gaps are about as big as we've seen them. Bring up the time delta to Jake behind. It's been kind of back and forth. Shy of a second for pretty much the latter half of the race. And he's going to be feeling very good about himself here. We've got kind of two fights forming at the same time. Leader here. And John Bailiff giving Patrick the hurry up for the last spot on the podium. Jan teleports to the pit. I don't know if he had a follow-up incident, but either way, Jack defends on the inside. Jake slots back in. Are we going to see a mammoth send here from either of these cars? Jack opts to defend here. And Patrick almost manages to turn the car. And here we are, leading up to the line. Jack takes Heat 3 win ahead of Jake. John manages to lose out to Patrick. Very good fighting here. Very good fighting here. This has been amazing to see. And some lovely crashes as well. Oof. Big crashes in the one. Oh, right over the top of Patrick. And we'll keep the camera here on Bob Wallace to see what he can give us here. Do that Stephen Burns straight into the wall. We've got a disqualification here. At least it was at the end of the race. He's managed to seek out his prey here. Andy, lovely crash. Andy head over heels, as I believe that is everyone across the line. So a very good fight here in Heat 3. Amazing fights all round, and some very dominating performances here from the leaders in each of the heats. And yeah, Jake just chilling here at the fountain as we yeah, managing to bring things to a close. So we've got the results here for everyone to see. So round 4 here, the Jetta Championship at Long Beach. We've got the feature results here right at the end of things. So Jack Johns taking it ahead of Jake. Patrick Dopart with a very fortuitous double move into the podium spot ahead of John Bailiff and Eric Manentveld, who gave us a very good fight towards the end of the race. Andy, Jerry, Stephen, John, Bob Wallace and Jan Weiswanger rounding us out here on the, well, at the end of round 4. So yeah, without further ado, I think that is pretty much it. I will be heading off for some very late dinner here, but I will be very happy to announce that I will also be here for the next round at Langley Speedway. We'll be looking forward to that very much, and I hope you've enjoyed the racing. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope you will enjoy watching this back if you were too busy racing. And as always, here at SimSpec Media, try to do each of the races we do justice, getting really involved with the community. So as always, if you have any feedback or suggestions or how things have played out here on the broadcast and stuff you want to see for future races, my Discords are always open, my YouTube chat is always open as well. So yeah, without further ado, I'm your host here, Attore, also known as Khalid Ramadan. As always, if you see me on track, let me past. And yeah, see you guys at the same time next week for Langley Speedway. Here's everyone, and goodbye.